Welcome to Triple Fist Bump, the premier gaming podcast where you can listen to opinions across generations. I'm the Kid Dream, joined by my two co-hosts, Chris and Osiris.
Versus.
Who is Chris versus? Chris versus who?
The world.
Why Chris, though?
I mean, it's everybody. It's because his name was said first. Like, if you say the world versus Osiris, that sounds way different than Chris versus the world. So one sounds more positive than the other. The other one sounds like you're getting stomped into the earth by society. So
True.
yeah, I had to, I had to call an audible there. Though you're right. I did fight the world. And I lost for about the first day. I got a couple of them dubs. But now me and the world are pretty even.
And that's all the time we got. Thank you for tuning in.
I thought you were going to continue. What is this?
No, there's no interest in what I was fighting in the world. No interest.
We know what you were fighting.
You gotta be like, what was you fighting? Ah, well.
People.
Yeah. I mean, basically. Though, honestly, not really, though.
How many juries was it versus every other character in the game?
Day one, there was no juries, and then there were all the juries. All the jury people were the weirdos. Yeah, which makes sense. It makes sense. Funny enough, and we to set the stage, we're not talking about jury in Street Fighter V. Oh no, we're not even talking about jury in Street Fighter 4. No.
Bring back Street Fighter 4 jury.
Well, you might be interested partly in what's going on here. No, I'm talking about Capcom's closed beta, that you have to apply for and hope you get picked. And I did for Street Fighter 6. And I will say right now, jury in Street Fighter 6 is better than her Street Fighter 5 version.
But that's not hard to top.
Yeah, no, I mean like significantly. Like even at a casual glance of somebody who's not a jury main, or never was, even though I like the character style, and the fact that the character uses Taekwondo, which I myself practice Taekwondo, so cultural connection. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, no, she's much better, and even more somehow over the top as a character.
Yeah, Street Fighter 5 jury was interesting because they gave her the most interesting stuff in the game, but she still sucks somehow.
I mean, the jury play style is such that there's not really a lot of middle ground. When you're doing all them flippy dippies and stuff, it's either going to be very effective like it was in Street Fighter 4, or it's going to be just like a bunch of frivolous nonsense, which in a defensive game like Street Fighter 5 is easily punished.
Right, well then, I'm going to ask the only question I care about.
Yes.
Does she have the counter teleport?
I think I saw someone use it, but I don't know if it works the same way.
If it's a counter and she teleports, that's all I need.
But see, that's the... How would you like her to counter attack and then a teleport?
No, just teleport when she counters you.
Okay. Okay.
Because Street Fighter 4, that's what it was. It was a counter, and then you could go back behind them or above them.
Right.
I don't know how good it was, but it was fun.
See, that's the thing. Street Fighter 6's systems they got so much stuff going on in that game that in this early stage of playing the beta, I was still trying to pick out what were the character-specific moves versus what were the universal moves. And that's the thing.
You're like, oh man, my character has this cool thing. Oh wait, everyone has that.
Well, see, because this is the thing. Like Street Fighter 6 is doing new stuff. And by new stuff, I mean it's going to the past and taking the best stuff out of it. Then making it modern.
Uh-huh.
Yes. So, like, you look at Street Fighter 6, and Street Fighter 6 is a combination of two games. You got Street Fighter 4, which is more obvious when you look at it. And you got Street Fighter 3, which is not as obvious, except it's super obvious.
But
yeah. No sprites. That's the thing. There's no sprites. The art style is going on from 4. And advancing that stuff. But all the flavor. Sprites. All the non-sprite flavor of Street Fighter 3 is in there. To the point where not only are you greeted with a hip-hop track as soon as you start the beta, but when you go to create your avatar, the default avatar is a black dude with a fade. That's how Street Fighter 3 the game is.
I don't think I've ever seen a default that be the default.
The default
That's
is literally cool. A black man with a fade.
A fade?
With really? A fade. Well, he got like the high box and the taper on the side. So it's actually not a bad looking hairstyle. And in fact, all the black hair options look pretty good. They even got 2 kinds of fros. They got the normal fro for the curly denser hair, and then they got the looser fro for the straighter hair. So you get 2 different textured fros, which I've never seen in a game.
Yeah, there's only one fro.
Right, and it's normally just a big super clown fro. I mean, technically, the default cut is like a mini fro with the taper, basically. That's pretty much what it is. It's not even really a high box. It's like a mini fro with a taper on the side. And I'm just like, 2 sets of dreads that actually look decent.
Oh.
Like multiple black skin tones. It's not just light skin, brown, dark. I mean, it's kind of crazy. In fact, they got multiple default black face archetypes that you could then customize all of them of. And of course you got all the other races represented too. So you can pretty much create whatever you want. And make it look make it look all right. Make it look all right. That said though, you can also create whatever you want. And that goes back to the jury players I saw. You see, the character creator might give you... There's no such thing as too much freedom in a character creator, but it is shocking that they give you that much freedom in the character creator. Because when I say you can make your avatar look like whatever you want it to, I mean, imagine you turn on the game and you make your character and you walk into the lobby, right? And you see everybody else's character because there's this big hub that everyone is put into for the multiplayer. Arcade
you just see a bunch of short, pale hobbits that aren't wearing any clothes.
Oh, that would be conservative.
Oh, dang.
That would be extreme. Just hobbits? No. What if you saw human SpongeBob?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's like that.
Yeah. I mean, big square head, square body, skinny arms, skinny legs.
I mean, you knew people were gonna do that as soon as you saw the character.
Most games don't let you do that, though. That's the thing. Most games are just like, here's the skeleton. Figure it out.
Elden Ring.
Right, I was just about to say Elden Ring, Soul Calibur 6.
Yeah. But Soul Calibur 6 is mostly crazy because of the costuming. No, I mean the physical you can base your character model is Play-Doh. So, for instance, you can make a dude with massive elephant trunk legs, and then right when it gets up to the waist, it turns into a stick, basically. So it's just a walking void with a wobbling stick on top. Nothing that you can't even describe as human at all. Like when I'm saying SpongeBob, I'm not saying like a somewhat human version of SpongeBob. No, I mean a literal SpongeBob. See, like you're thinking too conservatively. No, SpongeBob, SquarePants is in the game. You can just make that. And so it's this weird situation where you got people who took time to create like
plankton noises.
Basically. Like,
how many Thomas the Trains did you run into?
Oh, I ran into some weird stuff, man. I ran into monsters that I ran into the type of monsters you'd fight in a survival horror game. I ran into some Resident Evil baddies.
Wow.
I'm just talking like the shortest dude you can see, but with a head so big it matches your height, even though their body is shorter than you. I'm talking like this ridiculous proportions of just stupidity.
It's just a head just moving
just
on the ground.
A head just slide like with a little body underneath. And I'm looking at, like, did we use the same character creator? Because when I used
why can it get that big?
I don't know. And I know people. This is the second beta they've done, and you look up some of the characters people was creating in the first beta, you'll see what I'm saying. So I don't know if it's like all the mutants I saw were people from the first beta, and maybe they did patch some things. Because I was like, hey, I'm here to fight, so I'm going to make my black dude, I'm going to give him a warrior dreadlock haircut, and a goatee, and we're going to put him out there. That's it. Like, we out here. I didn't spend a ton of time in there. But I was just seeing these weird, just mutants, and then you got, like, demon men that show up out of nowhere, just like blue dudes with wings.
With wings.
Yeah, with wings. I guess you can get the wings for completing certain challenges.
Oh,
so
okay.
They just made their
They just found wings in the character creator?
Well, hey, look, not in the default character creator, but in, I'm sure, the soon-to-be monetized extra character accessories. Oh, yeah, you can do stuff. Now, the sharp demon teeth you have to give yourself in the character creator, I'm sure. You have to put your incisors in there. But everything else, yeah. No, it's out there. It's crazy. It's crazy. And so that's just the start, right? And so, yes, all the juries I was fighting were always either mutant men, I don't know, anime goth chicks, or demon dudes. That was basically the characters using jury that I found in the beta.
Okay.
You can see
just trolls.
Yeah, just
the
trolls.
Troll world.
Just trolls. I don't know why they just defaulted to jury. I mean, I saw one Ken that was like that. It was like a guy who had a skinny body, but his arms were like, it was like the SpongeBob SquarePants inflatable arms. He just has super massive Donkey Kong arms for no reason. But his body was normal outside of that. Just like, he played with Ken, and that made sense. I was like, all right, the flow chart is still here. Things haven't changed that much. But, yeah, no, like, just mutants. Just mutants. Mutants. So, back to your question about the jury counter. I did not go use jury in the command list. So I don't know if it's exactly that. But the reason why it's confusing is because in the fusion of Street Fighter 3 and 4, there's a new big mechanic in Street Fighter 6, and it's called drive. Mm-hmm. And drive represents your character's ambition and willingness to fight, yada, yada. Your drive. And so what Drive does is give all characters in the game access to a certain suite of abilities that they can mix up with all their normal stuff to, go crazy, basically.
Right.
And the most important of those two, or the most obvious of those two, rather, is the parry, which is the parry straight out of Street Fighter 3.
Oh, you need gauge to parry?
Depending on how you use it. If you tap the parry, if you truly use like a third strike parry, where you just input the command as soon as the attack connects, it uses so little drive that it's basically negligible. And if you do it perfectly, like I said, it would actually replenish drive. So it gives you more drive for doing it. But there's a catch though. There's a tweak you can do to it, and this is where the game gets modern, which is you can hold down the parry and continue to block every attack that happens after that for as long as you have drive. It basically becomes faultless defense from Guilty Gear. You just could do it. Anything except for a throw, of course.
So you have to succeed at the first parry then.
You don't. You can just hold parry at any point, and your character will turn blue and block everything.
Oh, parry is a button.
It's a button. You just...
Okay, because I'm like, in third strike, you parry by pressing forward.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what?
Yeah, no. In this one, you can parry. You can just hold the buttons to parry. But if you click the button fast, it's just an insta parry. It's just the equivalent to pressing forward. In fact, if you parry somebody and then you if you click the button and press forward at the same time, you will do a parry counter. So you'll parry and then immediately counter attack. And you can just go crazy after that. Like, just go crazy. I saw Guile, go from a parry to a counter hit to a flash kick. Yeah, or just parry, punch, boom. Just like what? Aggressive Guile in your face, using the buffer of the parry time to put in a flash kick, hitting you with that thing. Insane. So you can do that, and if your character got movement abilities, you could just chain those movement abilities right afterwards. So it will look like you parried and then shifted around screen.
Right.
Which is why I'm like, I don't know if Jury actually did that or if that character was just using the regular parry so fast that I didn't notice the blue come up and then was moving around after that.
Right.
It looked that smooth when you get really good at it. The next... Yeah, go ahead.
No one's saying anything.
I thought I said her dream say something. But and the next thing you got on top of that is you got the focus attack from 4. Except it's better. It's called the drive attack. And what happens is that your character basically rears up, runs forward a little bit, or slides forward, depending on how their attack works. And you can just smack the enemy, instant crumple them. Just insto crumple them and go for full combo after that. And if they block it, it basically knocks them back super far. They can't really punish it if they block. It just pushes them way back.
Oh, okay.
And then you can...
Then, does it crumble them on block?
It doesn't crumble on block except for a certain scenario. Now, that drive rush uses half your meter, basically. It uses a chunk of the meter. Big chunk. But I think you use it about twice back to back before you start getting in danger. Because your drive replenishes over. It's like stamina. It just comes right back over time. Yeah, so and I haven't really seen a physical attack that can break drive, unlike focus attack. The only thing I've seen that can break a drive is if you're a point blank ready to throw. They use it right in your face.
All attacks.
Yeah, it's just going through everything.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
So everyone has a D. It's like Blaze Blue. Everyone has a DP, huh?
Basically, like everyone could just at any moment just go and just run at you for for a big chunk of their drive gauge. They could just run at you and just cause mayhem. It's frightening when you're in the corner too, because you can't back away. And if you jump at the wrong time, they could just chime the drive so that you land right into it. Unable to
you can't
block.
beat it with an attack.
You can't. You can if you can time it to jump over it or to throw them. Those are the only two things that I've seen that worked 100%. Or if you're really tricky, you can maybe parry it. I haven't seen anybody go for the parry against the drive, because if you just start parrying, people will see you turn blue and they'll just run up and try to throw you. But I'm gonna try to parry. I'm gonna try to parry a drive at least one more time today. I'm gonna see if I can just parry the end of it and counter. But it's pretty wild when it comes, and it does good damage on its own and leads to crazy damage. And it looks really cool. It's like your character, like you know when somebody's doing a drive attack. Like they characters start lighting up colors like they go on Super Saiyan or something. They rush at you. Like Ryu does the same punch he did in Street Fighter 4 with his focus attack, except now he's like sliding across the stage like with his fist coming out to hit you. And you're like, yo, what the? So like those are the main two things that everyone has, and it changes the fight. Because on one hand, with the drive attack and good use of the parry, you can get super aggressive. But on the other hand, you also have the ability to block basically all physical attacks.
Right, and if you're using all your drive offensively, you'll have none left defensively.
Exactly. And vice versa. And that's the other.
And vice versa.
And the other thing is that, like, on top of that, your super gauge is only for your super moves. And that's it.
Right.
All your EX moves use the drive gauge. So that's the other thing you got to take into account. You open up somebody with a drive attack, a drive rush, you're not going to have as much drive left to do crazy EX combos. You know, because you used a lot of it in the drive rush. Same thing as if you're trying to turtle with the parry all day. Let's say you do parry somebody. Well, you don't really have a lot of drive left to press the offense. If you if you want to open up with the drive rush of your own.
And so that's all you can do with drive then, are those two things?
Well, you got the drive rush, which is like the focus attack. You have the parry, which there's two forms of.
That was the three.
Yep, you have the parry counter, which also uses drive. That allows you to just insta counter it. Because you can do a regular counter attack after a parry. Like, you can just jab somebody. Or you could do the parry-specific counter, which is meant to open people up for combos. And then you have another move, which is when you're regular blocking, you can also use the drive, the parry counter after a block. It's almost kind of like that guard attack in Elden Ring where you block with the shield and you can immediately attack afterwards. Except now you're doing that with Street Fighter. Or if you play Alpha 3.
It's like a mix of Street Fighter. It's like a mix of Street Fighter 3, 4, and 5 with its mechanics.
3, 4, 5, yeah. Like I said, that it's kind of like the V reversal. I always think of the Alpha 3 Alpha counter. But yeah, V reversal is basically like an updated Alpha counter. So yeah, like it's taken from all of those Street Fighters and putting it into this drive.
It sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially since the game balances itself with all these drive things by giving you one big weakness. If you lose all your drive as a fighter, it becomes the most terrifying situation you can find yourself in. It is terrifying. It is like being a level 1 hero facing off against a Dragon Lord.
Because they have all their drive to just do stupid stuff to you.
And you have And while
you're sitting there playing normal old Street Fighter, poke.
You are playing Street Fighter 2, and they are playing Street Fighter 3, 4, and 5 with new 6 stuff all at once. And you're playing Street Fighter 2, the World War. You're sitting there
trying to poke, and they just drive attack you.
No, man! And the thing is, it's just not that. Even though the drive goes over time, when you're burnt out, which is what happens when you lose all your drive, you can't use drive.
Do you get a penalty?
There's a penalty, and you don't overcome that penalty until you get your entire drive gauge back. And the drive gauge is not 1 or 2, 3 segments, it's 6 segments.
Dang.
You get a lot of drive. So you're meant to use it. But if you run out, you are punished.
And how are resources between? Well, actually, first, how much drive do you start with? Do you start with the full?
You always start with 6, and it always recovers over time. So if you got good combos, you by the time you finish your combo, you'll get a lot of your drive back. If you're efficient.
Does it?
Yeah.
But does it recover between rounds? Like,
yeah,
do you keep
start with full every round. Every round you start full, and it recovers really fast. The thing is that offense and fighting in Street Fighter 6 is so aggressive compared to Street Fighter 5 and even Street Fighter 4 in some ways. Like, this is the most aggressive Street Fighter I've played since 3.
Imagine being more aggressive than Street Fighter 5. The game that everyone complained about the aggression in.
But the thing is, you can be this aggression because you got the defensive mechanics. Like, V-reversal, the weakness of that a lot of times is that if you didn't have, V-gauge, you was just at the mercy of your opponents. Infinite block strings.
You couldn't gain V gauge by losing.
Nope.
Or you didn't really gain it by losing as much as by winning.
Right. By laying effective damage. So it's like the
I guess you did actually, but it still wasn't good enough.
Yeah, and it's still like what? Some characters get 2, maybe a few get 3. Whereas in Street Fighter 6, everyone has drive, everyone has the parry, and if you're really good at the parry, it's basically not using drive. In fact, it's giving you drive. So you can be crazy aggressive because a good defensive player can still defend themselves as long as they don't burn out. It only becomes Street Fighter 5 when you burn out. And that goes to the other caveat, is that whole block thing against the drive rush, yeah, that doesn't exist in Burnout.
Wait, it just beats you?
You're getting crumpled. Don't get hit.
Dang.
Don't get hit.
Yeah, don't run out of drive.
Don't run out of drive ever. You lose your drive as a fighter, you're dead. You are dead. Because people in this game are vicious. Like I feel like every single character in this game not only has most of their old moves, but also a bunch of new moves that do all sorts of wild stuff.
Can Guile do new stuff?
Yes.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Guile got some of his V-trigger stuff just naturally. He just got it.
They were like, actually, we like this. It's pretty cool.
It's just good. Like, Guile can just put you in a corner and just infinite boom you. If he wants to. If you don't have the drive or the parry ability to handle it. You just get boomed in the corner forever. And he don't care.
Wow.
He doesn't care. I fought Ryu. Every Ryu I fought didn't even throw fireballs. Like, they were just sitting at mid-screen with the super kick, bouncing people off of walls, making you fly back to them, juggling you in the air, drive attack sliding into you, and then hitting you with more super kicks, Tatsus for days. Like, it was just nuts.
Oh, that was that move they gave him in Street Fighter 5, the kick off the wall.
Yeah,
right?
Which he debuted in Street Fighter 3. Yep.
Oh, they took that out in 4, huh?
They took that out because that kick was, even though Ryu was mid-tier in Street Fighter 3, that kick was strong. That was one of the things keeping him out of the bottom tier.
Oh, wow.
And so, yeah, Ryu could do wild stuff like just combo you from mid-screen, kick you into a wall, bounce your body off the wall, and then super you with his Shinku Hadouken. comfortably. No fireball spam required. Like, I saw so few. The only person I saw using projectiles was Luke. Everyone was just running in.
Yeah, but isn't Luke's the full screen attack?
It can be full screen. It depends on the strength he uses. And most people just use it because it's super fast. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but it can interrupt stuff.
Yeah, it's just a poke.
Yeah, it's just a poke. But
that's good enough.
Yeah, which in this game, yeah, like except if somebody anticipates your poke and they drive rush you, then while you're sitting there with your fist out there, now you're dead. And that's the back and forth. Like Street Fighter 6 is like a deadly dance where everyone is looking for that. Everyone's going all out from the start of the round. And it's like back and forth. We're like, okay, I got you. Bam, 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 bam. Oh snap! I messed up and you parried. Now I'm in charge and I got you. And your turn can end at any point. Like people will talk about Street Fighter V and they'll be like, it's the turn-based fighter in the sense that once somebody starts their attack, you just stuck in the block string. You just all right. Well, let me, just wait. All right, are they done? Okay, cool. Let's go. That ain't the case of Street Fighter 6. If you know how to parry, you can stop somebody's turn whenever you want if you anticipate it. If you know how to block counter, you can stop somebody's turn when you find the weak points and open up for full combos afterwards. Like,
wow.
if you anticipate somebody trying to block, you can do wild stuff to them, and the characters all seem to have abilities that move around that. My character of choice was Kimberly. And I like
I wanted to play Kimberly.
Kimberly is extremely fun. She has a ton of moves, but it's extremely fun. And I feel like she's one of the new characters that really emphasize how crazy Street Fighter 6 can get. Because she's based off an old character from the Street Fighter Alpha games and the Final Fight series, Guy. Like she basically wants to be his disciple. That's her story. So she has some of his moves from the old games. And then she has a lot of her new stuff. And a lot of her play style evolves around just mind gaming the mess out of people with a mixture of her moves and the drive moves. So, for example, Kimberly has a rush attack where she runs at you. It's just a dash attack, right? Except, like Karin from Street Fighter V, she can mix up the follow-up to her dash attack with different button presses. It could be a slide to hit low. It could be an overhead. Or it could be a good mid, right? That's cool. Except she also has ability. She can also do nothing with the drive.
And then cancel it into just a throw or something.
Yep, and hit the punch button that allows her to emergency stop where she just cancels it and she could throw or use other special moves or drive or parry. So like Kimberly could just blind run at you, emergency stop, parry right in front of your face when you try to punish her. And she can do it from full screen. So if you don't have a projectile, she just running at you. You don't know what she's going to do. Will she hit low? Will she go high? Will she go mid? Will she do nothing? Will she do nothing and then parry? But if you just if you don't even emergency stop, if you just truly hit nothing, she will actually do an attack once she reaches the character, the opponent, where she will run up their body like a ninja and backflip off of them. Does damage.
Oh.
Yep, so she can just run up, pop, backflip. Now, after this backflip, Kimberly has even more options.
Because she's in the air and can do stuff?
Yep. So her air moves work when she's in the air at that point because it counts as her being airborne. And she also has two unique follow-ups to the run-up. One is a dive kick where she just comes right back and kicks the person.
I figured.
Right? The other one, if they block, is a command grab that can grab you out of block.
Mm-hmm.
So she can follow up her attack with just a normal hit or a grab. And this grab is dangerous because what if they parry? If the person parries your attack, you're backflipping out of the way so they can't counter you. And if they're still in parry, you get a free grab on them. If they turtle up blocking because they don't want to get hit with the dive kick, you get a free block. You get a free grab on them. If they stop blocking and try to move or do anything, you get the kick. The kick seems to have pretty good priority. And if you do nothing after that, you just backflip harmlessly out of the way and can do it again.
So your goal is to be landing that backflip kick.
Oh, yeah. You want to land that, but if they anticipate it, you can mix it up by going low. You're going high, just stopping and throwing. And so they have to consider like several different things, including the fact that you can just stop and parry. Or you can stop and grab attack if you're feeling really frisky. I mean, drive attack. Like, you can just stop and then just go, and then do the dive.
Just blow them up.
Yeah, blow them up again. And so when you're going against Kimberly, you're just like, oh my gosh, what is she going to do? What is she going to do? And that's just one move. Kimberly can also throw paint cans underneath your feet that explode. She can teleport from anywhere on screen, and it just puts her in front of the opponent. Kimberly has an air grab, an anti-air grab that does good damage. She has target combos that end in grabs that shift your position so she can get out of corners. Kimberly has an overhead that if she hits you with the overhead, she can put a jump input in, and she can either backflip away from you, neutral jump over your head after she hits you, or jump behind you. And all of her moves are still active while she does this. So you literally never know when Kimberly's going to switch direction. And it works on block, too. So if somebody blocks that overhead, you can just backflip out of it. Or neutral jump over it. Or jump behind them, depending on the character. Like, I did that to Guile. Like, I overhead Guile and then flipped over his head as he flash kicked. He's flying across the other end of the screen like, oh, where am I? And I'm behind him. It's like, ooh. Use the teleport to come right behind him, and I hit him with a super move. And it was just nothing he could do. It was nothing he could do. Because he guessed wrong. And I'm Kimberly. But if I guess wrong, now I'm in the corner getting hit with infinite booms.
Right.
So, like...
That's Guile, though.
That's Guile.
That didn't used to be Guile.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Guile used to be a very patient man. Guile in this game is aggressive. It's still charge moves, but they're aggressive charge moves.
It sounds like we got Guilty Gear Street Fighter now.
That's basically, like, honestly, I feel like they looked at the past Street Fighters, but they also looked at Guilty Gear.
Drive.
So, I don't know.
Drive.
I feel like Kimberly as a character has more moves than most characters in Guilty Gear Strive.
Yeah, I mean, usually it's like 4 moves. So.
Right. But like Guilty Gear used to be
sounds like
crazy.
she has a whole bunch.
She's got a lot. I didn't even get, like, she has a dedicated punch special that's just meant for combo opportunities. But if you use stronger versions of it, it can link up into like a Rekka. So she's just like, They're doing multiple hit combinations like Ramblefall has with hers. You know, like she has another move where she can she got like a Tatsu kick of her own that can be used as an anti-air because it kind of goes straight up or like up at a diagonal. Like she has stuff like that. Like I said, the air grabs, the down grabs. Her super, if you stock up, when you set the spray cans on somebody's feet to blow them up, the first thing you have to do is like you have to set a stock. So she has a move where she basically readies the spray can, kind of like how Ibuki gets more knives. She can like ready a spray can, and if you wait until you ready spray cans and then you do her super moves, she has unique super moves from when she has the spray can active. That also leads to stuff. Not to mention, if the spray can blows up under somebody's feet and they're not paying attention, it launches them into the sky. So you can do stuff with her.
Combo.
Yeah. So like you can like throw a spray can under somebody's feet, run at them with her, get them scared, then emergency stop, go for the throw. If they tech the throw, then they're not going to be blocking. The spray can is going to blow up under their feet. In which case they fly in the sky and you can jump up and do the air throw on them while they're in the sky. Or they go for the parry, but since you know the spray can is under their feet, you just throw them. And they can't do anything about it. Or since the spray can is under their feet, you go for the drive attack. And you make them get froggy. Like, you could just do so much. And mixing up, like, my first few fights, I didn't even really know the character. I was just using the drive gauge. And I was probably having some of the most fun fights I had in Street Fighter in a long time. Just playing with the drive mechanics, not even using the other character stuff. Like I accidentally selected Luke and I had a good time despite not knowing any of his moves. Just because fishing for opportunities to drive rush people, like countering people and then throwing them afterwards, seeing people who were getting parry happy and then just running up and throwing them repeatedly over and over and over again, only to do a combo when they finally stop parrying and start trying to tech. It was great. Just playing around with that. The super moves look crazy. The style is incredible. You can really see everything on the screen. All the bars are brightly colored. You can easily see where everything is. You know, characters have unique mechanics seemingly. Like Kimberly has, when she uses her super, she turns on her headphones. It changes the music for the rest of the round and it apparently changes the properties of some of her moves. When she's listening to music, it's like
you're just stuck in Kimberly's world for the rest of the game.
You're stuck in Kimberly's world for just the rest of the round. Like, she's playing the music. And she gets an icon next to her drive gauge, which is like a beat going off. And you just like, okay, clearly I've unlocked something. But yeah, but I knew I was sold on this game the moment I saw Ryu's not throwing fireballs. When Ryu was like, it is more fun for me to run in your face and attempt to give you this Superman kick off the wall into insanity. That's what I knew.
Well, that sounds like a really fun game. Yeah. When it actually comes out, that'll be fun.
That will be fun. Yeah, I think this game and Guilty Gear, things are looking pretty good for fighting games. We'll see when Tekken 8 comes out.
Had us worried with DNF for a second.
Yeah, oh man. I actually had fun at DNF until I didn't.
I mean, it's fun until it's optimized, probably.
Well, once it's optimized, only one person is playing the game. That's the thing. Either you're having fun or your opponent's having fun. You both can't have fun in DNF. Because once somebody's not hitting any buttons at all for the rest of the match. That is the definition of just touch and death gameplay. It's stupid.
Well, that's all the time we got. Thank you for tuning into Triple Fist Bump. And with that, Triple Fist Bump out.
No special comment, just podcast over. Bye-bye.